Yes, it's black.
Okay, good evening everyone. This is just a brief moment of testing before we get into the meat of this evening.
Got no audio.
You'll have audio in a moment, I hope. Are you seeing our beautiful faces now? Have we appeared on screen?
Yeah, that's coming through fine.
Yep, excellent. Right, well, what we're going to do is just briefly is we're just going to try, we're going to have the briefest of breaks because, as you pointed out previously, breaks weren't working. So, Rob, if you'd like to just help me with this. Okay. Well, to take us off the break there. So, so I've got three things. Anyway. Hello! Good evening, folks, and Happy New Year. And welcome back to Adventures in Wildspace, presented by the Neem Valley Role Playing Association. That's us. The lovely faces that you see before you. So, from starting at the bottom today, because it's always rude and he always gets left till last. We have Martin, who is playing JL. Then there's me, hi. And above that, you've got Anthony, who is playing Lovelaw, who has this talent for just getting larger. Not Anthony, but his character. Above that, you've got Pete, who's playing Varro. And next to him, off screen very slightly, you've got Christine, who is playing Megan. And then last but definitely not least, at the top you've got Bugsy Boy, who is playing Shiguris. So, when we left last, you had just flown back to Craxis, your sort of home base that you're slowly but surely establishing, floating in an asteroid belt. And you'd flown back there from having repaired the skin of a gigantic space whale and cleared it of parasites. And now you find yourself, again, looking for adventure. You should have had a long rest. You should have all been healed up by now, right?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. I think you should have all had a rest, and you should all be back healed and fighting fit and ready to go.
Oh, did you actually? That's a good point. Actually, talking about last time. Just scrolling up, because I sent you all of that shit that I've done, and then I think I whispered you. Can we remember whether you said that was fine?
Hmm.
Oh, the
room carver
yeah.
to something else, didn't I? John, I did tell you what I changed it to, but you'd never answered that one.
Sorry, so start again, mate. I've got a weird message coming up, so just give me a second.
Okay.
Sorry, just let me.
So that's Anthony asking how Lovelaw can get more in-game Viagra because he wants to be big again.
It's gone something quite weird. I don't really understand what has happened.
That's all right. I mean,
we do apologise.
Ultimately, it doesn't cause a problem with reference to extra spells and all the rest of it. So yes, I just want to make sure that you're all right, that everything's been changed and we are normal.
Yes.
Or as normal as my character can get being an ooze.
Yes, you were. Yes, your change was perfectly fine.
Excellent. Okay,
I
just
think.
wanted to know, because otherwise I'd
Yes.
spend another 5 minutes trying to work out something else.
Okay. All right.
So yeah. So literally within 8 hours of Shaggy wakes up and he's got a little bit of a swagger about him, and one leg is slightly heavier than the other, and it goes clomp a lot. It's almost like he's put brass tacks or something into his skin. Oh, and Monty is back up and running as well.
Okay.
I've removed some of the dents and shit.
Yep. No, that's fine. You've fixed him. That's not an issue.
Yeah, and I've instructed Monty to go to Lovelaw and find out how to actually fight.
Well, no, see, that's the interesting thing right now. You guys are struggling to work out where the hell Lovelaw's gone, and Shaggy, you've been tinkering. Lovelaw has wandered. He grunted something about there being insufficient drink left on the ship, and when you went and found the crates that you'd picked up a little while ago, you realised that they're all empty. That the bottles that are in there that you thought were full, he's actually drunk them all. And he's sort of shambled off somewhere. You're not quite sure where he is. He's just sort of disappeared.
Okay, I'll mention to everyone that I think Lovelaw's gone to buy a hat.
Oh, no.
A big hat.
Last time we did that, it didn't go well. It didn't go well last time we tried that. It got chased
Right.
off the planet.
A crate of hat.
A crate of hats.
Was it this shape and colour?
Well, there was a holder for one of those each side and some straws. I think he mentioned something about that in Crax's. Don't know where he saw it. I mean, next he'll be buying a T-shirt saying "Kiss me quick."
Lovely, you've wandered back to the scene of your previous encounter. And you've wandered into the tavern, and you've been given a bit of a brief bit of stink eye from the barkeep. He's looked at you, but then he sort of looked around the room, shrugged his shoulders, and served you up a jug of ale and a bottle of. He calls it his finest whiskey. It's rough. And you're taking it over to find a table and somewhere to sit. In the corner, you notice there's a rather dishevelled and aged tabaxi sitting there, and kind of hunched over his drink, and he looks up and he sort of stares at you. He's actually, I mean, his fur is kind of mottled and he's going grey all around the jowls, and he pulls this slightly odd face, which many humanoids would misunderstand. In a tabaxi, it's actually a sort of a kind of gesture of puzzlement, but most other people would read it as a scowl. But you've known a few tabaxi in your time, and just low under his breath, hey. And you sort of look at him and you kind of take a step towards him. Brother, come on. Come and sit down. Share a drink with an old man, huh?
Is it a bench or is it a chair?
It's a table. He's got his back to the wall. So there's a bench along the wall, and then there's a table that he's sat at, and you can sit either side of the table. You can go at the ends. It's a rectangular table. So you can go to any ends. You've got a couple of chairs opposite him, or you could kind of go around and sit on the bench that's along the wall. Up to you, really.
Since I've got one hand sort of steadying the great axe and the other with a big jug that's been given me in a bottle tucked under my arm. I use my foot to swing a chair around 360 so I can sit on it backwards and lean over it and set the stuff onto the table in front of him. I'm sitting right across from him.
He picks up his mug, and
I do the same.
he clinks it to yours, and just takes this little swig. Seen some
Looking
action
over,
there, huh,
Taking this week.
boy?
Do I think he has as well?
Yeah. The thing is, you know about the tabaxi that they don't tattoo because of the fur. It just tends to become hidden. So instead, they tend to have piercings. And he's actually wearing like a hooded cloak, and he sort of pulls that down, and he's got a series of piercings in both ears up here. So he's got various bits of piercings and stuff. And you look at those, and you're not sure it's old stuff. He's old. He's real old.
All that.
Yeah.
Spin me a tale.
And he reaches out a hand. Raris.
I reach out my hand too.
Okay. And he clasps. Your hand is much larger than his. Yeah. He's relatively slight, but then that's tabaxi for you. They tend to be smaller. You know.
I resist the impulse to reach out and scratch his head.
It's generally best. That's how you tend to lose chunks of flesh.
Yeah. That was resisted.
Yeah.
So spin me a tale.
They're not called Jaguar men for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He sort of purrs under his under his breath.
I wait with the barkeep and show him one of the little glasses. We'll get an extra glass for the bottle of whiskey.
Yeah. Very kind of you. Very kind. Well, you see, you won't remember. It's one of those things nobody does. Everyone forgets. Everyone forgets that the trouble on Shelter didn't start there. You know? It was imported from March. That's battles on March. It was a long, long time ago. Everyone forgets them. But, you know. I was there.
On March?
Before that place became settled. Lots of naval battles. A lot of good men went to the bottom. Maybe some of that's still there. Who knows? Anyway. Cards. You play. Pulls this hexagonal deck out of his, kind of inside his cloak. You realise he's got a pouch, a kind of bandolier pouch across his, just kind of tucked underneath it, sort of as the cape gapes. He reaches in and pulls his cards out, and he kind of hands them over to you so you can check them.
Do I recognize it?
Yeah, this type of card game you do. Yeah. This is a pelt deck, and it's different. So, it's different to the normal, to standard. What you would normally think of as a 52 card deck. It's 48 cards, still 4 suits, and it's slightly different. You play slightly different games with it because you get different things on each of the faces of a card.
Well, Lovelord, money goes through Lovelord's fingers like it's water, just because that's what he does with his import.
Okay.
So what little I've got, I put out on the table, and say, "Let's go."
Hmm. Whoa, 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 whoa. That's very generous of you, boy, but let's stick to just a few coppers, huh?
Ah,
My
okay.
pension doesn't stretch much further than that now. Kind enough of you to get me a drink.
Absolutely. I pour him one, and then I put my money away. And
No, I mean, you keep a little bit of money, you
Proper.
keep a little bit of change
Yeah.
out, but what you did is you got a load of gold then, and he was like, whoa, dude, I can't, he can't,
Got it.
yeah? Anyway, you play a few hands, and it's fairly even initially. Between you're drinking and you're just sort of chatting about culture and about times and just a few little things. And he tells you a little bit about these naval battles that he fought in, and the fact that there was a lot of stuff, a lot of kind of trying to wrest control over one of the islands. You think he must be pretty old. He must be pretty ancient. You think he must be probably 80 plus years old. He's old, even for a tabaxi. He's pretty grizzled, and you just get the impression from him that just his overall kind of his physical demeanour, that he is an old man, and that becomes very clear. And you've been playing for a little while, and then Shaggy kind of playing with old seamen. Yes. And anyway, so Shaggy comes in, he spots you from across, and you sort of nod. You carry on playing, and Shaggy, you're going to come over and play a couple of hands as well?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah. I'll go to the bar though and get whatever Lovelaw's been drinking. Times
Okay.
2, times 3.
So you just...
And bring one over. One down in front of the old seaman, one down in front of Lovelaw.
Wait, before he comes over,
Mm-hmm.
I tell the Sebastian,
Yep.
that's my buddy there. He fancies himself a dread pirate. If you can call him by that, it goes a long way. I give him a smile.
Okay. So, Shaggy, you come over with these drinks and you put them down and you just nod. Ah! I recognise you, boy. Hmm?
No.
Yeah.
Squint.
You're a dread
Get
pirate.
my eye patch over to the other eye and look.
He kind of squints at you. Ah, you're a dread pirate. Pleased to meet you. And he sticks out his hand. And you just sort of shake.
Yes, I am. I am the dread pirate.
He's incredibly,
Yes.
he's incredibly thin. As he reaches out, his sleeve sort
In
of
that
drops
case,
down.
I
You can
don't
see
do
how
enthusiastically.
you can see how skinny he is. How tabaxi are slender anyway. They're cat-like and they're slender anyway. But he is particularly slender. Can I deal you in? He says.
Oh, no. Pro hearing's good enough for me. Card games? No.
Okay. You're playing again. You play a bit more, and the amazing thing is, Loveloy, is that you win a few hands and take a few coppers off him, and he just you've been playing and drinking for kind of a good kind of hour and a half at this point. And Shaggy, you're watching. He's not cheating. They're just playing cards, and
Just chatting.
cards being what they are. You're just watching the two of them. And it really kind of, you get this feeling of
I get
You
a
know,
feel for the game because I've been watching for a little while, so I get a feel for the. Do I think that I'm going to be able to play Lovelore at this on our own ship?
yeah, you think probably you've never come across one of these, or you've heard of them, but you've never kind of seen one of these decks before. And the game is very strange. So basically, what they do is they have these decks. And what they're doing is they are orientating the cards and building these kind of stacks. So what they do is you have a card, you have a face card that goes down in the middle, and then you have these stacks that orientate around to kind of create like a shape around, so 6 cards around the outside, and it seems to be something you're picking up the way that this works. And then, based on the hand that they've got, there's a round of betting, and then they lay in order, and there seems to be something about being able to buy in at a higher level, and therefore to lay before the other person, and all this sort of stuff. And there's these kind of horse trading they do, and they're going backwards and forwards. And he's dipped into one of his pouches a few times and brought out a few more coppers, and you've gone on. And you get to a round, and it's obvious that he's just kind of, he's reached a point where his money's run out, basically. What change he's got he hasn't run out, has run out. And you've been supplying him drinks. And he just sighs. And he puts the cards down. And he just sort of nods. And he reaches into his pouch. I think so, he says to himself. And he pulls out a scroll tube. Small one. Made from ivory, with brass caps at each end. Here. And he hands it over to you. It's a map. I always swore when I left the service that I'd chase it up myself. But that was a long time ago. I never did.
Chase it up?
I had a life. But maybe you will. Maybe you're the kind of person. Or maybe you are, pirate.
Pirates
got
like
a
that.
life. Oh, as pirates, we love maps.
Brother, thank you. You've made an old man very happy. And he gets up.
Wait, before you go. What I do, I'd like to purchase your deck of cards. We don't have one like this on the ship. And what I'm going to do is cover anything you might have lost, the value of the cards. And
no. I see what you're doing there. I see what you're doing, brother. You've been generous. Keep the cards. I'm not completely out of money. The money that I'm carrying, but I have things. I have enough means.
No insult intended.
You're a good boy.
I stand up, pat on the back as he wanders
Yeah.
off.
I go to try and
He
put
salutes
something
you.
in one of his pockets, and I end up actually putting a gold in his hand.
No need for that, he says.
Thank you for teaching me this game. It looks absolutely fantastic.
Enjoy. And he turns and he just sort of walks slowly out the door, and one of the 4 doors, and he just disappears out into the street.
Well, what do you think, Dread Pirate? You want to look at this? Or
I've
should we?
got something. I've got a
not-
wizard on my screen now. Oh no, it's gone now. It's fine. Okay, that'll teach me for clicking in places I shouldn't be clicking. Ah. Wow. Lovely. I mean, come on. We got away from here, haven't we? I mean, it's a treasure map. I can tell. I can sniff it.
I look around the room. Is there a lot of folks around, or is it just? I thought the invitation was.
It's busy enough in here. It's busier than the last time you were in here. It's still a dive, and there's still a lot of shady folks, and you have to be a bit careful when you look around the room, because there's some people you don't want to stare at too quickly, because really, quite frankly, you just don't want to get into the fights. But it's fine.
Hey, let's take this back to the ship. We can look at it there.
All right.
There are too many prying eyes here. Might try and take your treasure, Captain.
Oh yeah. No, we don't want that. We don't want that.
Okay. So, while this is happening, Varro.
Okay. So yeah. So okay. I get up. quite normally. Trying to be so inconspicuous, it's, you know. And then I kind of like, hello, and then I kind of like just out the door.
Is anyone else having a thing
Yep,
about?
we are. I was trying to whisper it to John. We're having some audio cutouts and delays.
Okay.
Audio and video cutouts.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
video went for everybody,
Video.
including myself.
I've had no
Yeah.
video cutouts.
Yeah, audio
Yeah.
cut out as well. But as long as you don't, that's all right.
The only person I did have
Yeah.
an audio cutout from was Pete when he started talking, which was really annoying. It's like everything's been fine up until that point, and then suddenly Pete, and I'm like, no.
That's new AI in Discord cancelling me. For being too boring.
Pete spouting out themes too frequently.
Middle-aged heterosexual white guy cancelled.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think we got the main gist of it, though, of what's going on at this point. I think we're shifting over to describing what's going on with the others. Is that correct, John?
That is correct. Yeah.
All right. I'm going to step away from the desk for just 2 seconds
No
while
worries.
you're doing that.
Yep. So, Varro, what are you doing during this time? They've wandered off from the ship. What are you doing? You decide you really don't want to go after Lovelore and Shaggy this time. You just leave them to it. Pete?
I think Pete's frozen.
Pete's either frozen or he's not ready to think about it.
Yeah,
If you're not, don't worry about it. I'll pick up with some other people and we'll.
yeah. I mean, I think to be honest, it's mostly going to be like logistics. I'll check out the job board, see what's
Okay.
going on. Sort out restocking. Well, we haven't been anywhere really. We've only been away for
No.
a few hours, haven't we? So,
Yeah. So you're absolutely fine in that respect.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go someone else.
Okay. So you go to the job board, and there's a job posted on the board. There's a few jobs that are just completely inappropriate for you. They're large shipping jobs, and you wouldn't be able to get the quantity of stuff onto the ship. But there's a job that's it says single crate, live animal transportation, and apparently, I'm going to stick this on the decar, and apparently it's shipping to shelter.
Okay. How much?
It pays a frankly astonishing 2,500 gold pieces.
Yeah, that's not going to be a problem at all, is it? Yeah. Okay.
No, it's definitely not going to be a problem at that kind of price.
But I mean, mainly in waiting for the others to get back. So
Yeah. The funny thing about it is that it's being offered by the Port Authority. It says to ask at the Port Authority office, and it's not actually a shipping company.
okay.
Like,
Well, maybe I'll go and. But how about I go and find out the details,
Okay. All right.
just so we know the options. I'll head to the Port Authority building.
Yeah. Okay. So there's two offices for the port. There was the one that you were at where you found the moaning going on the other day, but there's a different office which is for handling shipping. and you kind of head down, and you saunter down there. It's kind of you kind of got to go from where you're docked. You go down to the head of the port, and then you kind of go all the way around, because the port covers like almost a quarter of the edge of Craxus. Actually, let's just put up the picture of Craxus. This is obviously from the other side. I should probably put a nameplate on there as well. But so it's around the other side. So you know we're on the wrong side of the place, kind of from here. Let's just make that so it's a little clearer.
Very good.
For our viewers, but yeah, so but it's basically almost a complete quarter, and it's kind of down the other end. You're at one end, the left hand end. All the big stuff is kind of the right. It kind of docks to the right, and you got to go all the way around, and then kind of it's there on the kind of port front. So you head round that way. You walk in, and there seems to be some kind of issue going on. There's somebody from that you think is a captain of some kind of freighter. He's a human, and he's dressed, like a complete dandy. You know, he has this large hat with a big brim. He's got this, kind of sword at his waist. He's got this rather overdone kind of white silk shirt, and this red waistcoat on, which is sort of laced up at the front. But there's a bit of kind of skin showing here. He's almost like ridiculous kind of medallion, and then he's got these tight, what look like leather trousers. You assume, and these big black leather trousers and brown leather boots, kind of coming up to his knees. And he's stood there and he's waving his fingers about, and I can't. This is completely outrageous. You need to get this sorted out straight away. And he's kind of yelling, and a bunch of the people they're obviously quite upset with the way that he's acting. He's just sort of coming up behind him, and he turns and he sneers at you, and looks you up and down like you've just kind of he's just scraped you off his shoe. How's wrong with this guy? He's still yelling as you wander down to the far end, where there's basically a little notice that says, kind of special jobs section down the end of the thing. You can just hear him yelling. And you can just ignore him, or do anything about him, or ask him to keep his voice down, though.
Well, just kind of listening just to find out what he's yelling about.
It seems to be something to do with the fact that he's turned up expecting a consignment to be ready, and it's not been cleared by the customs authorities here. It's come off another ship, and the paperwork's not complete, and he was expecting the paperwork to be complete so he could load up and go. And it's going to take another day, and he's yelling about it. He just sounds like he's rude, quite frankly.
Yeah, okay. I'll head over to the other desk.
Okay. Alright. There's an elf behind the desk who's looking, and then looking at you, and then looking, shrugs his shoulders. Hi. And you can see he's waiting to see if you're going to kick off. Do you know what I mean? He's just got that look on his face,
Yeah.
like, we're really fed up in here today. There's lots of people shouting, and it's clearly not a good day.
Yeah. So, greetings. I don't know if now's
Hello.
a good time to talk. You seem to be quite busy today.
Yes. Had a lot through in the last few days.
Yeah. Well, the reason I've come over is because on the job board down by the docks, I noticed that there's a job listing for a single crate transport.
Yes.
I was wondering if I could find out more details.
You interested?
Well, the price is certainly attractive. Maybe a
It
little
would
too
need to be. So, how do I put this? There was a crash. Not here at Craxis, but just within our space, and the ship was en route here, and it crashed, and everyone on board perished, and we sent some people from here to recover it because they saw the crash happen, and in checking we discovered that that there was this crate in the hold, and in the crate is something that we're not quite sure what it is, and it's alive. There was instructions not to open the crate, and there's also an address, and given that we found some money on board the ship, we thought that the fairest thing was, if possible, to return it or to send it to where it needed to be. We're not quite sure what kind of animal it is, but it sounds quite angry from within, and it bashes about, and we really like it off the dock. We don't just want to eject it into space because we didn't think that was very fair, given that we're not sure what it is, and we do know that there are some people on shelter who are waiting for it.
Okay.
We think it's some kind of possibly a dog or something of that nature.
Okay.
It doesn't sound very happy. The crate is quite large, but it will fit on most ships, we think.
How big?
The crate is about. I think of everything in meters, and suddenly I'm having to think of them in feet. I'm like, crap. Yeah,
A 3.
yeah. It's about 10 feet long, about 7 feet wide, and about 5 feet high.
Okay. What about food and water for the animal?
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. There's a water feed chute on the outside. We assume it's got food. It only came in yesterday. We're really a bit worried, and we want it gone. We don't particularly want to open it and find out what's inside. We did try and see if there was somebody locally who could, a wizard who could peek through it without needing to actually open anything. But it looks like there's some kind of magical defences built into the crate as well. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. The price is high. The price is high because we don't know what the risk is like. Probably no risk. It's probably fine if you know what you're doing. But we want this thing out of here.
Okay.
What could go wrong?
You say the ship crashed.
Yes.
Well, why did it crash?
We don't know. We don't know the reason.
What did it crash into?
And it crashed into one of the asteroids at speed.
Okay.
Ooh.
People on board, they were killed in the crash, or were they?
Well, yes. I believe they were. I believe their bodies were quite badly damaged.
Okay.
Look, you know as well as I do that we're doing this to get rid of it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
We'd like to keep
That's cool.
we'd like to keep as many people on shelter on site as possible. We don't particularly want them to see cracks, as if we're some kind of some kind of unit of people who don't keep their side of the bargain if it's possible to do so. So we've offered a good pay. To be honest with you, it was recovered from the ship, so we've taken our costs out and so on and so forth. We're not losing anything on this deal. But the fact is, it's a risky job. We don't know what it is. Hey, look, if it busts open and starts hunting you on your ship, that's your problem, okay? That's why it's a big price. Yeah, we've had a few other people inquire in here and they've walked straight back out again. I'll understand if you do too. But we'd like to get it dealt with.
But thanks for your time. Thanks for the details.
Cheers.
And I'll head back to the ship.
So the human, as you walk back down the office to the door, the human you've heard him kind of stop yelling and he stood there, and then on the odd occasion he bellows a few things out, and then as you walk past you're kind of being nonchalant, and he looks at you and he snarls and he goes, "What?" I guess you're just going to ignore him.
Look in the eye.
Don't hit him. It's not hitting people.
Don't hit him.
I'm just admiring your fine dress sense.
Ha! Huh.
With that, I'll walk past.
Yeah.
With the tip of the hat.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've got to go to shelter. It sounds a bit more like shipping a crate to Whitby.
To what?
Whitby. That's sort of like the vampire.
Dracula.
Of course, yes.
We got to the UK by basically going
Yes.
shipping. And
I'd forgotten that. Yes.
before you- Yeah.
Yeah.
Just a simple transport, they said.
So, I shall turn my attention then to JL and also, or alternatively, I should say, I will turn my attention to. Sorry, that's weird. What happened there? That's very strange. Christine to Megan. So if either of you or both of you has things that you want to do, together or apart, whichever way.
Megan, want to go first? I don't mind.
I'm just looking to source a bit more wood for my my boxes.
Okay. I mean, this is a place with plenty of, craftspeople and things of that nature, and there's stuff coming in and out of the port all the time. So there's plenty of opportunity to buy things. There's plenty of warehouses around the just beyond the port.
If Varro's found a crate that's dormant, sitting there, just waiting to be picked up. She can use the scrap.
There's loads of wood here. Look.
Yeah,
Just saw this up. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Yeah, not at all worried about a crate that is magically protected against prying. With an angry beast inside
Yes.
and a suspicious spaceship crash.
Every single part of this is dodgy.
It's like death flags on every aspect of this,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, literally, the crate comes with its own red flag popped in the top, doesn't it? Obviously, it's like, yeah. But
And the wood's got the Jolly Roger emblazoned across it with a yellow background in a triangle.
That's it. On the inside, you feel a power that's burned the symbols off the outside.
I think what we do is we take the shipment, we get the crate, we put it in the hold, and then as soon as we're out of view of the
Yes. Absolutely.
Just poking out the back.
Exactly. Who knows? Who would know?
Well, the only downside with that is when you turn up to do the shipping, they say, right, here's the shipping manifest, here's your down payment, and once this has been stamped as delivered by the client, bring it back here, and we'll give you the 2,500 gold pieces. They don't just go, have some money, bye. It doesn't work like that.
That hand of forgery.
Yes, I've got a forgery kit.
Yeah. What are you forging, though?
Well, yes,
Well,
that's true.
yeah.
Well, the other way we
Right.
could. I don't know if you could do this. Can you just tie a rope onto the crate and tow it outside the ship? Just sort of tow it behind
Space.
in space.
No.
No.
You could lash it to the outside of the ship,
Yeah.
but you couldn't tow it, because then it would be in a vacuum.
Okay. I was wondering.
Yeah? Because the way the air bubbles work. This is just kind of from a practical perspective, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the Wasp has a back that's kind of like that, isn't it? The entry point's there, and the stairs or the tail's going down, but there's a bit that goes up. So if we can lash it into here or tie it somewhere there,
There you go.
it would be in the confines of our doodah, wouldn't it?
There you go.
Ah, no, it was a leg. Yeah, it was a leg. I knew it had a weird thing, and it looked like that. Ooh, we could maybe no, because that's another. That's the forward deck.
That's the 5 deck, that's the 6 deck.
We unmount the ballista. We basically mount the ballista just facing the crate in the hole. Have someone sitting with their finger on the trigger. Any movement from that sucker and they get a ballista bolt.
Unfortunately, it wouldn't fit on the weapons deck.
Well. Anyway,
Right.
sorry, other people have stuff to do. I'm digressing.
That's all right. Okay, so yeah, so you wander off and find Christine. So Megan wanders off and finds somebody, and you buy some wood for your carvings. That's not a problem. JL, if there's anything you want to do, then let me know.
Yep, she's got an idea.
Okay, go for it.
This could go horribly wrong. Yeah, she's going to wait till everybody else has gone and is occupied, and she's going to get changed into her fine green dress.
Okay.
I don't think she's had on with everybody else present.
Mm-hmm.
And she's going to put a piece of paper together. And she's going to stamp she's going to seal this piece of paper with her signet ring, and then she's going to go out into the town
Mm-hmm.
with a view to finding where the Duchess might be.
Okay.
So she's interested in heading towards the most important looking building, and yeah, she's walking around like she's meant to be there, and I think the background lends itself to this. The position of privilege, as people seem to think she has the right to be wherever she is. So she's gonna wander around and basically try and find the Duchess and say, I have this letter that she's going to be delivering to her.
Okay. So your plan is to find Salna.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, she's not actually a duchess. She calls herself Mayor Salnam.
Oh, Mare.
Right.
Okay.
She calls herself Mayor.
It was the other person that called her the Duchess, wasn't it?
Yes. There's. She's sometimes called the Duchess by the people are sort of call that behind her back, and sometimes
Oh,
Her
right, okay.
Majesty, and then she who must be obeyed, and things of that nature.
Yeah, I didn't put.
They're a little bit disparaged. People can be a little bit disparaging, but then that's kind of the
Yes.
nature of Craxis. The sort of people who live on Craxis are very much of that
And I-
type. You know, they are not. They're somewhat irreverent. I think it would be
Yeah.
fair to say. And there's not a lot of cap doffing goes on.
No.
And so so what you do is it's strange for you because you've kind of walked up the hill because effectively there's some buildings that kind of step up and there's kind of the road angles, but you reach this point where actually you're within this maze of buildings and you realise that actually you're underneath the kind of the rocky spire that serves as the heart of Craxus is effectively a kind of rocky mountain, and everything's been carved and turned into buildings, and you're walking through this sort of warren of streets and you're actually underground.
Right. Okay.
And you just sort of wander for a while, and you take things in, and it is funny, although despite the fact that people are somewhat irreverent, then people are quite polite to you, and you just put on that kind of haughty air, and you look like you belong, and despite the fact that some worlds struggle with your kind of infernally linked nature. Not here. This is the sort of place where your your background in terms of your genetic background doesn't matter. But what matters more is the character of who you are, and you simply project this air, and you just waft this green dress sort of fluttering behind you as you waft through the streets. People get out of the way, some people nod at you, there's a couple of peddlers and so forth that doff their caps to you, and some people are very polite. There is unfortunately one situation where you're walking past a side alley and there's a drunk taking a piss in the side alley, and he calls out to you and makes a rather rancid statement about your about the particulars of your of your genitalia, which is really rather unwelcome. But 5 seconds later, you can hear, "Oi, don't do that!" and a thunk as somebody sort of wanders down there and gives him a slap. So you're not quite sure whether either of those things is a particularly a positive, but that's what the reaction is. And what you realise is that actually you find yourself in some quiet streets. There are still people wandering backwards and forwards, but these places are much quieter. The trading has dropped off. There's a few residential areas, and you find yourself sort of circling upwards in this central spire, and you realise that above a certain point there is this appears to be where kind of the beating civic heart of this place is. That there's actually a point at which this kind of an upper section of this main central tower. Again, this is all carved from rocks. I mean, it's all beautifully done. It's not rough, but you realise this is one solid piece of rock that's been hollowed out over a long period of time. The section you're in, and you're cognizant of the fact that this is kind of there are people who are part of the machinery of government, I think would be the right way of putting it, wandering backwards and forwards. And
she's
so
she's not got a bow with her.
No, you have no weapons. I'm assuming at this point that you're not carrying any weapons.
She's got her daggers hidden in the pleats of the dress.
Okay, I was going to say other than concealed ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you find your way, and you actually you realise that you're in an area of wealthier people, and there's these. They're almost like townhouses, but they kind of front onto these narrow streets. And again, you just sort of work your way up, and eventually you come to a doorway. It's a big, wide double door at the end of this street. And in fact, it's so vast that it has a small door set into it, and the small door is actually open. And on the other side, you can see someone who's appears to be standing guard. They're not a guard because this place doesn't have like a town guard. It just doesn't. It's just somebody kind of casually stood there, looking bored. It's a young man. He isn't really paying very much attention, and he's certainly not really looking at you. You just sort of ghost up to the door, and you realise that you need to get beyond there, because beyond there is where you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I need to walk up to him.
He looks
Ah,
he looks at you, and you can kind of see he's like there's a little sort of tickle of ooh, because if nothing else, you are a staggeringly good looking woman, and he looks and he's ooh, and you can see kind of there's a little frisson from him. He's a human. Hi.
how are you today?
Oh, I'm alright. Yeah.
Quiet.
Who are you?
I'm JL. Nice to meet you. Your hands up. She puts her hand up.
So you're gonna put your hand out?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he takes your hand and and you can feel these kind of shaking slightly, and he goes, pleased to meet you.
Manners are still here. Good to see. Some of my associates have gone to a place
Oh.
where I don't think manners exist anymore.
Oh, and you can see he's just very bashful. He's taken in by your beauty and your demeanour. Sorry, I'm in the way.
Oh, thank you. I was wondering if you would be able to direct me to
Salnam.
Mayor Salnam, please. I'm delivering a letter for her that she received yesterday.
Shall I take you? Her apartment's
yes,
this way.
That'll be fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Lead on. Lead on.
No, I'm supposed to stay here and just make sure no one comes through.
Okay.
You can see he's really torn. He wants to take you. He kind of wants to please you, but he realizes that that's that his job is wrong. He's his. Look, just if you go down here, and then you turn right at the first right, and you go up the stairs. Her apartment's at the top.
Thank you very much. And your dedication to your duty is well noted.
Oh, thank you. Could you make
Okay.
a roll for me, please,
Yeah.
before we go? Okay.
What are we having? Persuasion? Deception?
Deception, I suppose. Really. Just trying to find.
Well, she does have a letter.
Oh yeah.
Deception.
I mean, you're +6. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't even. He just sort of simpers, and then he turns away, and you just walk past him. Just. He's
No
just.
plans
I mean, he's hopeless. You've just wafted straight past him, and he hasn't noticed. Okay, you go down the end, and you turn the steps, and you walk up the steps. And as you get to the top of the steps, you get to the door. You get that feeling again, just sort of seeps into you. That feeling of you're not quite sure what it is, but it's kind of almost like this warmth. And you reach up to knock on the door, and the door just opens,
Mm-hmm.
and she grins at you. Come in. Closes the door. This apartment is nice, but it's not anything special. As in, it's nicely appointed, it's nicely laid out. You walk down a corridor and you turn and you're in to a reception room. Again, initially you think you're inside, and she walks over and she opens what you thought was a wall hanging. She pulls it apart, and actually it's curtains, and you're here. So it's just sorry, I've done the wrong thing. You're basically here.
Mhm.
So you've got this beautiful view out of the window out into space.
I don't see how you could ever get tired of that.
I suppose not. Take a
Thank
seat.
you very much. Thank you.
She sits down, She sits down on there's basically this sofa's in a U shape. She indicates one to you, kind of once, and she just takes the one on the other side, and she sits down and she just folds up her legs, basically like she was sat when you came off the ship. And she puts her elbows down onto her knees and looks at you. Go on then, spin me the line.
I don't really have a line as such. I was just interested in talking to you more. To be honest,
Right?
you're a very interesting person.
You think?
Yeah. And also someone of a similar age. Everyone else on the boat around
That's fair. You're what? 3 years older than me?
20. 20 years, not 20 years older than me.
Then... Which planet?
Enchant.
Ah, makes sense. The family, merchants?
Yes.
You have the bearing.
Yeah, they're well established.
Your mother and father are important people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wealthy.
They seem to be.
Hmm.
And that's one of the reasons I wanted to. I did want to talk to you as a matter of courtesy. And I know that I was speaking to some of your dock workers, and they were saying it's a neutral port and there aren't guilds and things represented here, and I didn't want.
That's important to me.
Yes, I want to say that even though I am from a family and affiliated with them, I'm not representing them here. I am independent.
I understand. You make your own choices. Good.
Yes, I was fed up of being told what my decisions should be. Interesting as they were,
I can see
was-
that.
didn't want to be a tool for the business. I wanted to make my own decisions.
It's good to be able to control your own destiny.
Yes.
I think that's a very important thing. It's a very important thing for Craxis. And for me.
And certainly do not want to be given the impression that the family's making a move on Craxus, so I'm certainly not here for that reason.
I'd know by now if they were.
Yes.
I find that difficult to do.
Yes. It is well guarded, as your...
Oh, I make sure.
Yeah.
I make sure space around here is clear.
And we're happy that we managed to help Labour and get rid of those parasites, or at least that set of parasites.
Thank you for your help. It was appreciated. It causes irritation.
Yeah.
Slows me down.
I'd say we would be, if you did have any other tasks you wanted doing, discreetly or non-discreetly, we're happy to be in. We might be interested in work. At anything.
Tell me.
Anything that in the future.
And this she leans forward and there's this weightiness that comes over her. She changes, her demeanour changes slightly. It's body language. It's a body language change. There's almost like this. It's not that her weight falls over her. It's just that it's almost like her stature, even though she doesn't make any physical changes, her stature changes. She stands and she walks over to you, and she holds out her hand, and you offer your hand, and she just holds your hand between hers, and her hands are warm, like much like yours are. She says, I would take you into my confidence, you and your companions, and then you would perhaps sometimes do things just for me. You've shown yourselves worthy, I think.
I think every trade should be handled on its merits, but depending on, but we would certainly be. I think we'd be willing to assist where we can. I mean, it seems to have been as close to a home that we've found so far. Certainly more hospitable than other places, and we do feel there is a sense of calm here. In a
Good.
strange sense.
I try to foster that.
But I also appreciate that trust is something that isn't created in but a moment. You have to earn.
We could work up to it. Both ways.
Mhm.
It's good to hear, though. You managed to walk past everyone in my employ, including that sweet but slightly foolish boy at the door.
He was attentive to his task, at least in guarding the doorway.
But you realise surely that I have multiple layers of security here. I don't go
suspected
for
as such.
guards with swords and bows and aggression and armour. And you walked past every layer as if it wasn't there. Those that saw you thought you should be here. And that speaks to something. That speaks to a talent that few people have.
Very kind.
As I say, it could come in useful. For me.
Mhm.
So, thank you for the offer. I will consider my needs carefully. Thank you for your time. There are issues I have to attend to.
Yes, I appreciate your availability.
And
I
she
will leave
leads you
you.
back to the front door. And as you're walking along the door, there's a small room that you notice off to the left. You saw the door before, but the angle as you come back, as you went, the angle wasn't sufficient for you to see through the door because the door's only cracked open. But as you're coming back towards the door, you realise that there's a room, and in there you see that there's a desk, and there's a lot of paperwork and other things spread out on the desk. So you think she was probably working when you came.
Mhm.
And now she's gone. The strange thing is, you kind of expected there to be servants and offers of food and drink and things of that nature, but she just seems to be here alone, which is, not what you have experienced in other
No.
places like this. She seems very much like she is in control. She is managing things directly.
Mhm.
The place isn't that big, but there's a lot that goes on. The port is very busy.
Alright. I wander back down to the out the door and
Give
Alright.
the guy at the door a little wave as I leave.
Oh, he grins really broadly when you walk past, and you nod to him and flash him a smile.
Yeah.
You know.
head back to the ship.
All right, you're all back at the ship.
I miss Christine's stuff. What she did.
I,
got rolled.
I was just going to the market and getting supplies, shall we say. I did find a very nice little green berry that I thought might look quite fetching on Joe, so got that as well.
Has it got horn holes?
Yes.
Ah, perfect. Thank you.
Yes, very good.
You know, I was just getting supplies. Mainly wood.
She's got wood.
Yeah,
Your word,
you
yeah.
got it! When you've got it, you got it.
So has the young lad at the door.
Yeah.
Barrow's got a smile on his face, so it must have been Barrow's wood.
Right.
Oh,
Very good.
Change back into the
So
normal attire.
just the way that the timing all works out, you literally all just kind of get back to the ship at the same time. And the strange thing is that you've got Varro comes walking in, and you can see that he's puzzling over something. He's got this manner where you can just kind of behind his eyes you can just see the cogs going. And Lovelore and Shaggy have got something, and they're like, hey, guys, come and look at this. And you're all like, what the hell is going on? You all just converge into the galley. Lovelore?
how's your day? I say across the Varro.
Varro? Oh.
Interesting. Yeah. Yep. I could say it's very interesting. Yep. It looks like a massive trap from every angle. That's good.
The dread pirate here got himself a treasure map.
Oh,
That's a
okay.
trap!
I've got an eyeglass if you want me to take a closer look at it.
So
I want to roll that out, Shag.
Varro, you have it. Sorry, Lovelore, you have it. But
Yeah.
I hand it over to Shaggy because I know
Okay.
he really, really wants it.
can I just say, I think
I-
it's impressive that the D&D rules have got some information about what a magnifying glass is. Okay then.
It's the bit about the
Advantage on appraising or inspecting that's interesting.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Okay.
Shaggy.
So I go, okay, look, and you can tell the treasure that we're going to find is going to be amazing. Look at this scroll case.
So it's small. The scroll case is small, smaller than you would
Look at
normally
this
have.
scroll case.
It's quite narrow. It's made from
Look at this
ivory.
small scroll case.
Look at that teeny scroll case. It's not quite that small, but it's quite small. So it's about an inch in diameter, and it's about
So I shrink
14
my
inches
hands
long.
down to like baby size, and then the scroll case looks huge. Look at this huge scroll case.
and it's got these brass caps on each end.
Yeah, I kind of like take them off. I go,
Okay.
I wouldn't like it earlier, but Lovelore wouldn't let me because we were in the pub and there was loads of shady people around there.
You
And
take
I had to,
You take the end off the scroll cap. You just pull it off. Yeah. Scroll case. You just take it off.
Yeah.
You don't check it out to make sure see if it's got any traps or anything like that. No.
I'll
Okay.
take a look at it. Hang on a second.
No, it's too late. He's pulled it off.
All right.
There's a very loud explosion, and everybody's got to
Wait
make
till
a
you get to the
dexterity set. No.
Yes.
No. Okay.
I'm all warm and fuzzy inside.
There's a sort of
slightly
pop.
smoky.
There's a pop as it comes off the end. It's quite well sealed, but yeah, no problem.
Yeah, I see everybody flinch when it goes.
Yeah,
off.
everyone goes. Apart from Lovelore, who's like,
It's the scroll case.
everyone else is like, whoa.
Pirate
Ah.
gave it to us. He was playing cards.
So
with
inside
Lovelore.
there
What
is.
could go wrong?
There is nice, well preserved. There is a piece of paper, a rolled up scroll.
Okay,
Nice.
I dump it out, pull it out, roll it out.
Okay,
Is there a
it's
Look
not
at-
very big.
What is it? What is it?
It's not very big. It's small. It's been hand drawn, and it's quite detailed. And you all look at it for a minute, and there's some notes on it. Can I just check what languages do you speak? Can we start with Shaggy?
Common and Elvish.
Elvish, okay. Let's go to Varro and Megan.
Elvish, Infernal, Thieves' Cant, and Undercommon.
Okay. Megan?
I speak Celestial, Common, and Elvish.
Okay, very good. Lovelaw?
Common, Giant, Gith.
Okay. And finally, JL?
Common, Elvish, Infernal, and Sylvan.
Okay. All right. Very good. Yes, so this looks like it's a fairly kind of less common dialect for space elves. So this is it is a dialect, but those who speak Elvish can notice the notes that are handwritten on here. It looks to be handwritten by in Elvish.
Okay.
And you, it takes a moment to sort of orientate it and work out what's going on. It does have some notes in one corner to talk about orientation, and you realise that it is that classic thing, which is you get these stellar maps that have got they've got depth through, but that's basically by the positioning of coordinates and the size of larger and smaller objects, and you realise it's a map into it. You think it's of the Scortha Reaches, and there's kind of measurements as to where it is, and some references to objects kind of in the distance to triangulate this position. And within that is a notation of there's an asteroid, or what appears to be an asteroid field notated, and then there's a route through the asteroid field, not quite to the centre, but kind of roughly sort of positioned roughly in the middle, and there's one particular spot that's marked. And you don't really understand. There's a reference to something, but it's a name, and it doesn't really make any sense. Or you think it's a name of something, it doesn't really make any sense to you. But there's obviously, it indicates there's probably something there.
What's the name?
It is. It is not just there. Sorry?
X.
Yeah.
It's not X. No.
Oh, no.
It's Larthak.
Larthak.
Yes.
Hmm.
Which is a
Shake my
name that
head.
just doesn't have any. Right. Let me just copy that for you.
So is there an
Larvac.
X on the map?
Is there an X on the map?
Yeah.
Yeah, effectively yes. It's not actually an
No,
X.
but is there... Right, in that case, if I don't see an X, I just turn around and go, fucking useless treasure map. There's not even an X on there, and I just walk off.
It's
So
effectively one.
Well, hang on. There kind of is an X. What you realise is it's an X, but it's only an X when you turn the map through 45 degrees. It's like that. It's a plus
So as I'm
with a
turning
circle.
round- as I'm
But
turning
then what
round,
you
I see
do?
the-
Oh, this is a bloody rubbish
45
treasure map.
degrees,
Look
I see
at.
X. I
Oh,
go,
it
I
is
see
an
the
X. Yeah.
I'm intrigued again. I'm back around the table looking
Oh,
at it.
look, an X, look. X
you
marks
turn
the
map
spot.
around, you can see that it's an X. That's where we gotta go. That's where we gotta go.
Everyone else is looking at it going, it's just a couple of lines, man.
okay. So what do we know about the Scortha Reaches?
What do you know about the Scortha Reaches?
Oh, I've been there. I know everything. It's dangerous. It's brilliant. Lots of plunder to be had. But you've got to be careful because there's big
Yes.
boulders in the way sometimes.
So,
Yeah.
the Scortha Reaches is an area of mostly asteroid fields, small planetoids, gas clouds, and so forth. It's a wide region and
Bad
within
plans.
the Scortha reaches are a number of key places. Most notably for Lovelore, there's Yafaldir, which is the home of the Cloud Giants, which no one is really sure if Yafaldir is actually a planet or an area of cloud and gas that's so thick it can be walked on. And the Goliaths make their home in the Scortha reaches as well. Across various places in the Scortha reaches, there's various locations that are kind of home to the Goliaths. And
I remember reading a book about that place.
most notably Sild, which is one of the biggest kind of planetoids. There's no...
This human in this book went up there and found this goose, and it laid golden eggs. He was set for life.
What could go wrong?
So,
I reckon that's what the
so
treasure
yeah.
is.
You reckon...
This again?
Sorry?
How did you get this map again? You won it in a card game.
No.
It wasn't won. It was given after a card game. An old Tabaxi. He was pierced up like he was a veteran. We shared a couple hours of conversation and drink. Very old Tabaxi. And he gifted this as something that he wished he could have gotten to in his life.
Okay.
So that's about as much as I know about it.
Oh, and
Do I
Farrell,
look over-
Farrell,
Oh,
I'm
so
in the
what?
card game.
He thinks there's treasure there.
You know, his description of what was there was fairly spotty. I look over at my vibrating friend, who is so excited he can barely stand it. It could be treasure.
It is. It is. It is.
All right, folks.
It's something he wanted to get to in his life. I mean,
Yeah.
it might be a bar. You know, maybe he wanted to go there to enjoy the sunsets. It could just be a really good view.
Yeah.
Am I missing? Am I not forgetting? Am I forgetting something, John?
No, I'm just going to say, I just need to take a quick break, and then we'll come back in about 5 minutes or so. So,
Very good.
excuse me, but I got to nip out for a few minutes, and then I will be back. So,
On the big break.
on stream, we'll take a break, and we'll be back in a couple of minutes. And we are back from our little break. And now my dog's not hungry anymore, which is a good piece of news. So,
Feed the doggo.
you have got the map, worked out there's an X on it. Kinda. Had a look and realised that it's somewhere within the Scortha reaches. So, what other news do we have?
So, Skohatch reaches. So that's where
Scortha.
the treasure map is pointing towards, right?
Scortha.
Scortha, yeah.
Scortha reaches.
Scortha.
Scortha.
With an S.
Scortha.
Silent S then.
Scortha.
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 Gotha.
Okay. So that's where the treasure map is pointing to.
That's
kind of,
correct.
Sort of ish. That's that region. So I was asking Pete where the oh no, sorry, no, I didn't. I haven't. No, not metagaming. Not doing that shit. So we've got this over at Gotha Reaches. It's clearly a treasure map. You can see the X. I mean, if you squint and look at a 45-degree angle, it's definitely a treasure map. You know, I might even get a live parrot from this place.
Maybe it's
I
a
don't
planet
want
of
a live
parrots.
parrot. I've got a dragon. It's fine. Anybody else got anything interesting?
That sounds
I
fun.
go over to Lovelore and I go, I've let the parrot out of the bag, haven't I? They're not going to let me have a parrot, are they?
They may. They might. I give him a
Okay,
pat on the
I perk
shoulder.
up a little bit again. I perk up a little bit. So what's this suicide? What's this trap? What's this? Varo, you were saying that you've looked at it from. What did you find? What did you find? Is it as exciting as this map? And he holds up the little postcard map.
Okay, I will describe. You know, yeah. Basically, it's there was a ship came into Devon base, crashed into an asteroid, and everyone on board was found to be dead. But there was this crate on board with an animal and like a delivery note to say where it needed to be shipped to and some money. And they want to pay us 2,500 gold pieces to deliver the crate.
Did you get a chance to talk to the salvage people who went out there and found it?
Actually, no, I didn't. That's an interesting one. Yeah,
That might be worth a couple of seconds.
yeah,
That's an awful high price for a box.
it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And why did the ship crash? You know, were the people on board already dead? Was the thing
Yeah.
that killed them in the box? You see, no one knows what's in the box because it's magically shielded against scrying, which is suspicious in and of itself, isn't it?
Is it?
To be fair to him, he didn't say it was magically shielded against scrying. He just said it was magically
Well,
shielded.
they tried to investigate inside and
Yes.
find could be what was
They.
inside. Yeah,
I tried to find a local wizard to help them out, and
a local wizard.
yeah.
We did know one, briefly.
Don't trust wizards.
I've never met a wizard.
I like that,
Well,
Megan.
one-
Don't trust
yeah,
wizards.
Well, the one we met. Yeah.
Maybe Shaggy
When
could
did we
take
meet one?
a on the finger and poke it into the box, take a look inside.
Yeah, you know, that is a possibility. We could use our own magician here with
I could
his
do that.
mechanical stuff.
I could do that.
Give it to, of course, he has to mimic a spell he knows, but it would work.
No, I just need the disrobe.
Oh, golly.
You don't even need to disrobe.
Well, no, I can shrink down to nothing and my clothes are just left in a pile.
Well, no, you don't
What
need to do
What could
that.
possibly go wrong if you stick your head in this box?
You don't even need to do that because you can extrude a pseudopod, can't you?
Yeah, and just put some nerve endings in there that are really important to you. That, give you senses.
Yeah, see whatever when the thing that is inside bites it off.
Yeah.
Well, that would just be a normal damage roll.
Yeah, fair enough. But you know what? He knows himself better.
Yeah.
Than I do. Captain, what do you think?
Hey, I'm going to put it up for a vote. So everyone vote on which one they want to. Which one of the? You seem to have two good possibilities.
Is the crate time sensitive?
Well, I think they want to get it rid of.
Well, there's an animal that's going to die inside, right? If you don't
Yeah, I
feed
mean,
it.
they want to get rid of it as soon as possible, basically. So
I may have got us some future work, but it's nothing materialised. It's a work in progress. I had tea with the mayor.
Oh.
very nice.
Oh.
Did you do a good tea?
Actually, that's a lie. There was no tea.
Yeah, are we going to have safe harbour whenever we take on any more ships in space?
I haven't asked her that yet.
Hung?
I'm
Oh,
working
so
it-
you're not that in with her yet then?
Not yet, but the guy at the door that's very taken with me.
So basically,
Okay.
everyone went out and found a job except for. Just wondering what anyone else.
What did you get?
I got this lovely hat. Look, it goes.
Oh, that is a nice hat. It's not a pirate hat though, Megan.
No, not very hat. No. It's a lovely.
It's got holes in the side of it, so it's obviously not for me.
Someone's got to get supplies.
That's a great.
I mean,
hat,
it had to happen. So very, very good. We've
Okay,
all done our part.
so we've got. I think we've got two concrete proposals that we can do.
Okay. So you're
Yeah.
looking for a vote.
Yeah. So can we do both? I mean, where's the crate needing to go versus where the map goes? Are they in roughly the same area? We all
No.
look at the GM.
No.
Shall we- no.
Look, I think one is time sensitive and one is not.
Yeah, let's do the
He's-
time sensitive one.
Let's do the time sensitive, and we can get to the other. If somebody can wait 80 years and hand it off, then
Then we can wait 100 years and hand it off.
yeah.
Okay. All right then. We're taking the crate to shelter. Let's.
Sounds good.
Taking the
Are
crate
we
to
barred from
shelter.
shelter? Is this a safe area?
Yes.
Is shelter
Not
safe?
yet.
Are we going to have people chasing after us?
Folks, is shelter safe?
Yes.
What law enforcement area is shelter in? We've got to point out one of them, haven't we?
We've not annoyed anyone there, as far as I know.
Okay.
So, folks, what do you know about shelter?
I don't know.
Well, you use it to get out of the rain. Sometimes you can sleep in it.
I know you've told us stuff, Sean.
You have told us it's.
That's okay. No, I wasn't. This wasn't a pop quiz. This was just if anybody went oh, blah 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 blah. It's like okay, that's fine. You all remember. If you didn't, then it's not an issue. So shelter is in the Vedika system, so it's not far from where you are. It's
Very good.
it's about sort of 4 days from where you are. In fact, it's a little bit further actually. It's probably about 5 days at the moment, simply because of the positions, the orbital positions at the moment.
Okay.
It's the most populated planet in the Vedika system, but it's also its most troubled because the largest continent on Shelter is home to 3 human kingdoms that are currently waging near perpetual war. Now, it does actually break out into actual war, as in, armies fighting one another occasionally, but mostly it's kind of Cold War, assassination, border skirmishes, you know. But there's a constant low level of violence, and they're constantly doing, you know, trying to mess each other up. You know, their navies are constantly kind of sinking each other's fishing boats, and it's just an awful situation. And the people on shelter are particularly, you know, the majority of people who live on shelter are living under the constant threat of violence. Even in areas that are relatively safe, there's always risk, you know.
Do you mean delivering this crate too?
There's apparently a note that goes with it.
Okay.
So,
There was some paperwork found in the ruins of the smashed up ship. Yeah.
So I know time is tight and everything else, but it would be nice if we could get a quick chat with the salvage folks.
Hmm.
yeah.
Well, there's no reason why you shouldn't, is there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the ship, I think the ship crashed, yesterday, day before?
A couple of days ago,
A
yeah.
couple of days ago, so
Yeah.
we should be able to find out who it was. We could, tap up our contacts on the docks who like us, because we
So-
helped out.
So what you do is first of all you head down to the office. You go as a group.
Yeah.
Okay. You head down to the office. So Varro shows you. It takes a little bit of time to walk down there, because you have to kind of walk down the port and across and round to the office. And you go back in the office. And the good news is that the annoying shouty man has gone away. But it is still a hive activity in here. It's very busy. I mean, people are yelling occasionally, but they're kind of yelling across the office, and they're getting things done. And you walk down the end again. You walk up to the counter, and the elf looks at you. He kind of hops up from his table behind the counter, and he spots you, and he comes over, and you can see this look of, frankly, surprise on his face as you come over towards him.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you're back. Well.
Yeah.
Oh, right then. You weren't put off. Well. Good. Good for you. Excellent, in fact. We were getting a bit concerned that no one was going to come forward.
Yeah, well, obviously you need to get this done, so we figured we would maybe do, the pay's good, and we can do you a solid favour.
You can. I mean, the pay's good. What are you suggesting in terms of a favour? Is there something
Oh,
you...
we're taking this off your hands. You want rid of it.
We do.
So,
I suppose the mayor might be quite pleased that it's getting done.
well, we're trying
I don't know.
take people who get things done. So
She was taking an interest in this one, I think possibly because she was concerned about what might be in it and whether it gets loose. I shouldn't say things like that. You know the risk. You know the situation.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know what it is, so
Yep.
it's probably best that we don't find out. You're going to deal with that. You're going to come back safe. They're going to give you a big pile of money, and everything's going to be great, right?
We like big piles
Good.
of money.
I mean, this is a big pile of money.
Yeah, who cares about safe? Just give us the cash.
Sure. Right. So let's get the paperwork done then, shall we?
Yep, let's get that paperwork done.
The crate's in warehouse 5. So once I've got the paperwork here completed, you take that down to the porters at warehouse 5, and they'll bring the crate out to your ship. If you want to examine it beforehand, you can do. If there's any other prep you need to do, that's up to you. But I'm expecting you to ship it by the end of the day. Fair?
That's fair, yeah.
Good.
If this thing's alive, has it been... Have you been chucking food and liquid at it?
As I explained to your colleague here, We're not sure about food. All we know about is that there is a cylinder on the outside that needs topping up with water every now and again. There's some feed pipes that go into the side. Beyond that, yeah. I'm guessing it's pretty hungry by now. I'm hoping it's not. But maybe it is.
Okay, well, let's get the paperwork done.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to complicate matters, but in a good way. In a good way. Right. So I need. Is it 10 minutes to cast a ritual?
And plus the cast time, I think.
It usually has
Yeah.
10
casting
minutes
time.
plus 1 action. There you go. I found it.
Okay.
Okay. So how long does it take to do the paperwork? And how long do we think it will take to go from here to Cargo Bay
Warehouse
5?
5.
4.
Warehouse 5.
Warehouse 5.
Well, Warehouse 5 is about 20 minutes that way.
Yeah, but you can't cast a ritual while you're walking, so.
No. Okay. Right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get to Warehouse 4. I'm going to go to Warehouse 5 with the documentation. If somebody else wants to come over, they can carry the
Right.
documentation.
You've got to do the
That's about
documentation
10 minutes.
first. Yep.
Yeah. All right. So when I get there, I'm going to take 10 minutes. I'm going to do a ritual cast of detect magic. I want to see not what's inside the thing because it's not going to let me do that. It's just going to tell me whether or not. But I want to make sure that all sides of the crate are protected by magic. Now, I'm assuming that somebody's already done this, but I want to make sure that our party knows firsthand, not third hand.
Fine.
Okay,
Yeah, no-
so now with detect magic, I believe if I concentrate hard enough and I get a good enough roll, I can also find out what type of magic it is that's round the crate.
Mhm.
Okay, I can see if I know around any invisible creature or object in the area that bears magic, and you learn at School of Magic, if any. The spell can penetrate most barriers, but it is blocked by 1 foot of stone, 1 inch of common metal, 6 feet of lead. Okay, so I could potentially penetrate through a spell because it's not a foot of stone or 1 inch of metal, unless it's a protection of scrying, to see if what's inside also carries magical item or has magical effects. So if it's like a wormling, it would radiate magic. Or if it's a baby dragon or something like that, that's basically what I'm getting at. So I'm gonna have a look at what magic is around the crate first, and then let's see if we can go in to see whether it's a mundane creature or whether it's a magically enhanced creature. I don't know how to put that across in game, but that's what I'm
Yeah,
after.
no, I mean, just tell John you're casting the detect magic, and he'll tell you, I guess, what.
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
Yeah.
So once we
Yeah.
get there and we pass over all the paperwork, 10 minutes,
Yep.
and then I'm going to cast the detect magic, and then let's see what the bones give us.
Well, we can do that once we're back at our ship, can't we? So.
Yeah, break. We still want to talk to the salvage folks.
Yeah.
So I'll ask the guy, who they are,
Okay.
and
So he's
I'll-
stood at the counter and he's passed this over, and he's asked Varro to
Yeah.
fill out various bits, and so Varro's filling this form out. Dip and quill and
okay,
dip and
so
quill.
yeah, well, he's doing that. I lean in and go, hey, who did the salvage?
Oh,
on
hey.
this?
You're big.
Sorry, sometimes that looming thing is an issue.
Yeah, no, it's fine. No worries. Don't worry.
It blocks the light. It
I'm sure you're
blocks the
fine.
light.
I'm sure you're
Got it.
fine. I was just a bit surprised by you there. Oh,
Who did the salvage on this? I mean, we know a lot of folks. It'd be interesting to know.
hold on. And he goes over and there's a file, kind of a file card, and he goes and he's Captain Chalice
Oh, do I know that person at all?
of the Viper.
The Viper.
Huh. You'll find if they're still here, you'll find them.
Well, you'd know if they're still here better than I would. Can you take a look?
Hey, that's not this office. We don't manage the ships. We manage the goods. The goods checking.
Yeah, you're the manifest folks.
Yeah, that's the other office.
I look over at Megan. Have you heard of the Viper?
I haven't heard of the Viper, no. You think I should?
No, just
Okay.
hopeful.
Huh?
While the others are doing their transport of a box, investigation of a box, what if you and I took off real quick and tried to find this Viper?
Yeah.
Just for a quick chat. See if we can get Captain Carlos to give us a real good blow-by-blow of what they saw.
Yeah. We can do that.
Right. And John, I don't know how you want to handle that mechanically.
Okay, so what we're going to do is you guys are going to take a walk now, while everyone else wanders off to do the box. So we'll do the box first, and then we'll do you folks. All right?
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you complete the paperwork, and you go down to Warehouse 5, and there's a dwarf at the door, and he's sort of hanging about, watching. And you walk up, and he sort of looks at you, rolls his neck around. Hey, help?
Yeah, we're here to arrange delivery of a big crate that you're holding. Got the paperwork right here.
Hopefully not too big, it won't fit in. Shit.
It will fit.
The crate.
Yes, the crate.
Oh, my friends, come on in, come on in.
You're that anxious to get
Beam
rid of it.
out on his face. He kind of looked haggard and a bit worried, but now he's beaming. It's over here. Look, we'll bring it out to you. We'll bring you to the ship. We'll manage to get it out to you.
Okay. Can I have a quick look at it first, please?
Oh, sure. You've already agreed to ship, right?
Yeah, we've agreed to ship.
Good.
No
And
backing out.
It takes you round this stack, and you can hear this noise. Suddenly there's this kind of growling noise that you hear, and then there's a thunk, right? And then this gnome kind of comes scurrying past, looking really nervous, carrying this box. comes kind of hurrying past, and he nods. All right, boss. And they go. You go around this corner through, and then this box is just sort of sat. This big crate is sat. Yeah, it is. It's about 10 feet long. It's about 7 feet wide and about 5 feet. It's a big crate,
Yeah.
and it's just sat with nothing around it. So there's a big space all the way around it. It's just been kind of plopped in the middle of this whole bunch of stuff. And you realise there's actually a kind of sliding side door to this place, and it's just inside that door. But it's far enough away so that they could kind of get round it. And there's clearly a lot of nerves, and he's like, it's there. And he stands back, and he's a good 10 feet from it.
Okay, so does it look like it's any particular construction?
So
is it
the
just-
first thing to say is that it is not made from planks. It's made from big solid sheets which have got. So effectively, it's made from these big, thick sheets, and the long side that you're looking at,
Yeah.
it's 3 high and 5 wide. Okay, and then it's got these big. You know with the kind of classic crate look where it's got the side and you've got the edging, right? It's like that, but
Yeah.
it's in parts because obviously the plank, things aren't that big. So it's not made from just slats and planks with kind of gaps in or anything like that. The construction is very, very sturdy. Whatever the wood is that it's made from, and you're not quite sure what that wood is, it's extremely robust. I mean, you can just see without even getting up close to it. But as you do get up close, you kind of just sort of touch it and kind of feel. You don't want to rap on it because you're concerned about what the response to that might be. But you do hear from within. You just hear this kind of low guttural growling noise, and then it stops. It just kind of gives you the impression that something's in there. How big or small it might be, it's got to be big enough, you'd think, to make that kind of noise. It could be that there's a large dog inside. It could be something larger. It's not entirely clear. And then you hear a slight scratching, and then what might be something moving, walking.
Could be a little troop of 3 raptors. Very, very smart. They probably killed everyone on the other ship and then retreated back into the crate and resealed it behind them.
So,
We checked over the feeding mechanism.
Yeah, so this feeding or
yeah,
just
so
water?
at one end, or one of the short ends, you don't think it's a feeding mechanism. There's like a metal. There's a metal bit that sticks out. It's curved, and when it comes down into a point, and then there's a pipe, a metal pipe that goes into the thing, into the crate, and there's a hole, and it's all been kind of sealed up, and it's all kind of bolted together as part of the hole. And when that came in here, there was a little bit of water in the bottom of it, so we've filled it up. I don't think it would smell very nice in there if you opened it. Not that I'm going to try and find out.
No, open it.
Where's me magic man? Oh, he's back. He's back. Okay. Casting. Can't hear you.
Muted.
Can't hear you. Hello, hello, hello.
Dread Pirate.
Dread pirate silence.
I also muted it there as well, so I double muted myself. So just to take the piss, I start getting some chalk and some powder and what have you, draw a massive circle and thing, do some intricate sort of like inscriptions and things like that.
Dwarf keeps squinting at you when you're doing this.
I know, it's brilliant.
And at one point he comes up and he goes, look, cause any problems in here and there'll be trouble, alright? And not just with me. Got it?
And I turn around and then yeah, so as I'm doing all the tomfoolery, I'm actually taking up the preparation and what have you into the casting for the ritual. So yeah, and then after around about 10 minutes.
Yep. You're doing this.
Oh,
The rest of you are sort of walking around and just looking at things and checking them over. And what he does with you, Varro, is he talks about where the ship is and how you're going to get it on board and all this kind of stuff. And he says that what they'll do is they'll bring a dockside crane out and they'll lift it and put it in. There's a hatch on the side and they'll put in the hatch, and you talk about how you're going to sort that out. He's a bit surprised that you've got such a small ship, but he thinks that you can, with the big service hatch on the side, you'll be able to get it in without too much of a difficulty. He says him and his crew will do that.
Okay.
All right. So,
Have you given Shaggy the results of what he's found?
that's what I was about to do.
Excellent.
That's literally, I was just looking at the thing to find out what the best description of this particular process is.
Love.
Okay. So, you see a very faint aura around the whole box. You walk around the whole thing while you're doing it. You look up on top and so forth. You quarter the whole thing. By the way, it's stood on blocks. Okay, so
I could see the end of it.
clearly they've brought it. Yeah, they've brought it in and put it on these big, hefty blocks. But you see underneath as well, because you know you don't want to be caught out that way. You know. And so you look underneath it as well, and yeah, it is. It has a magical aura all the way around the whole thing. And the school of magic is abjuration, which is protection magics.
Okay. So I'm going to see if I can go inside the box.
And how would you do that?
Well, it says that area of the bear's magic and thing. You can penetrate most barriers, but is blocked by a 1 foot of stone thingy and blah blah blah. So I've detected magic in there. So because I'm concentrating,
Got you.
can I try
Got
and
you.
navigate past the first level of?
I
not the
see.
first level,
Yeah,
but
I understand. I understand what you're asking. The answer is no, you can't.
Okay.
Your
right, okay.
your magical detection is blocked, but you don't think that the wood that you are seeing, unless the planks are staggeringly thick, which you don't think they could possibly be, because the box would only be tiny inside then, and it would weigh an enormous amount. I mean, just ridiculous amounts. But you think there must be something more to it, because you can't detect magic beyond the surface of beyond the kind of the outer layer of the box.
Okay. So, in which case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something a little bit weird and disgusting, because I
Okay.
really want to know what's inside the box. What's inside? I'm going to open up the feeding mechanism. So you've got
Yep.
a water
And
tube.
not a feeding
and then you've
no, I
got
didn't say it was a
tube.
feeding mechanism. I said it's a water bottle.
A water bottle and a feeding bottle, but the feeding
No,
bottle
I didn't
is-
say
is
anything
empty.
about a feeding bottle. I said it's a water
Oh.
bottle. So let me describe it again.
So
Okay.
nobody
So
said.
so on the outside, is effectively a U-shaped piece of metal. Okay. Which comes down to a point, to a funnel, and then there's a pipe that goes into the box. Okay?
Yeah.
It's a small bore, tiny bore pipe that goes into the box. Okay? And then there's a lid on top, and when you pull the lid off, inside there is effectively inside the U-shaped metal bit, there is effectively like a water reservoir, also made out of metal. There's a water reservoir, and they were, as I say, they said there was a bit of water in it when they got it, so they've topped the water up a couple of times.
Right.
Yeah?
Well, there's nowhere for food. Right. Okay.
No,
so
there's nowhere
I
for
can't
food, no.
Stick my hand in the food bit, just the water bit. I know
Yeah.
what water tastes like, so I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm bored. I got
Sorry.
the barrier and go. It's shielded. Hopefully, it's shielded to keep whatever's inside from getting out. I can't go past that, so I don't know whether that's part and parcel of the magics, or whether there's something else inside there that's going to stop me from going further. 2 days, you said, though.
Sorry?
Was it 2 days? Two days. It's been. It's been
2 days
picked
it's
up
been here,
and
yes.
stored?
Yeah, 2 days since the ship crashed.
And no access for
Roughly.
feeding whatever's in there, because we don't know
No.
what's in there.
No?
Just giving it water.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm
that's-
just wondering whether or not we should try giving it some form of tranquilizer in the water.
Well, it's possible. Might kill it.
Mm.
Possible.
Okay.
Mm. Who do we know that can concoct a sleeping draft? Most rogues can do that type of thing, can't they? I wonder if we've got a rogue in the party that can do
Oh.
drugs.
Well, not as far as I know.
I believe, by the way, that Lovelore and Megan are off trying to find Captain Charles of the Viper.
Yeah, we are indeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a drug that.
But I've done everything I need to, so
No, sorry. I'm mentioning that because, yeah.
Mm.
But Megan's not the rogue, so I'll shut up now. I say rogue. No one's a rogue, really.
Okay,
Give it
so
beer.
well, we're just waiting. We're organising that.
Okay.
One thing I want to do is I want to organise for to get a lot of chains that we can wrap around this crate when it's in our hold. I'll cover that thing in chains, heavy chains.
That's fine. It's going to cost you a bit. Are you going to do some padlocks or?
I've got grappling hooks.
There we go. Yeah, we can just hook it together.
Okay, that's fine. I mean, to be honest, I actually think that probably the artificer on board could knock up a quick set of ratchets to put it all together. I don't think that'd be a problem.
Yeah.
That's what artificers are for, isn't it?
Yeah.
yeah. Or using nails through the loops of the chains.
Yeah, because I'm sure that'll be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Or we just bring the chains all together and stick the immovable rods through the hole.
It's quite like that idea.
They're not moving then.
No.
I like that idea.
Yeah.
That's
So,
quite
I
cool.
knew it. We've got a habitual drug user in the party. Well done, Megan.
Drug dealer kit. Right, sorry. Lovelore. Sorry, Anthony. For some reason, I keep calling you Varro, and I don't know why. I'm having one of those days.
Nope.
Lovelore and Megan. You wander down through the port. And
So intention with time as it is to locate and ask. So
yep,
you tell us what we need to do it.
yep, that's what I'm going to do. So you wander down through the port, and you ask. You basically find some porters, and you just keep asking the odd porter here and there. And a few of them are like, I don't know. When you get a little bit further on, one of them says, "Oh, I think it's down that way."
Okay.
So you kind of,
Okay.
again, you wander a bit further. These guys have gone off to the to warehouse 5, and you walk around in circles for about 5 minutes, thinking this is not a lot of use. And then this porter sort of wanders up. You're all right. You lost. You're looking for something.
We are indeed. We are looking for the Viper. I
Ah,
believe.
she says. Ah. She's a halfling, but she is brutal in terms of she is absolutely ripped. This halfling. She's kind of like the halfling equivalent of the Rock. She's just like solid, meaty, muscly. Oh yeah. She says, scratching the top of her head. She's a bit sweaty. She's obviously been working hard this morning. You see over there that red ship, and you look, and there's this really rather spectacular looking ship. Think, okay, that's probably the Viper then. Yeah. You see next to it, that's the Viper. Okay. It's a bit of a hunk of junk, but
Very good.
it flies, probably. As you turn and you're walking up closer to it, you realise it's rather kind of squat looking ship. You realise it's quite practical, and you realise that the front has been kind of carved slightly and with a little bit of paint, but the paint is all sort of flaked off in the shape of a snake. You think it was probably quite a nice looking ship at one point. Functional, but quite well maintained. But now it looks like a bit of a junker. You can kind of walk up, and it doesn't sit on, unlike your ship, which sits on legs and has to have ways of getting up onto it and so forth. This thing sits pretty much flat on the ground. It's got some very short, stubby legs, but they literally look on like a foot off the deck. And one side is kind of the whole side is sort of opened up. There's a door that lifts right up, and it's sitting up. You wander around, and there is this rather kind of scraggly looking woman, human woman, late middle age, sitting kind of on this crate, and she's dressed in real kind of basic clothing. There's a bandana around her head, and she's smoking of all things, I mean, some kind of, I think probably a cigar or cigarillo of some description. She's puffing away on this thing as clouds of smoke wreathing her. And she's just sort of leaned over. She's got yellow fingers and her teeth are all yellow. Darkish skin. And she looks a bit sort of, you can't really tell whether she's forlorn or she's just tired. She's sort of leant over, leaning on this crate, smoking. And you come round the corner and see her. And she's like, all right.
I look at Megan
Yep.
to see if she's taking the lead.
I do. I say to the woman, we're looking for Captain Carlet.
Charles,
Mm-hmm.
but everyone gets that wrong. You found her. Can I help you, love?
Yes, I wonder if you could help us with we have taken on a task to help the port out and move the Kraton that you found. And we just wonder if you could give us some information about where you found it. the
Reg!
condition of- Sorry, did she just yell out then?
Yeah.
Okay. What did she say again?
She said Reg. She shouts Reg. This
I step
equally
carefully
busted
behind
and
Megan.
knackered looking male, probably about the same, human male, about the same sort of age as her, comes round the corner. One of his legs has been replaced with a wooden prosthetic, and he thumps across it. So it's sort of like click, thump, thick, thump, click, thump. Hey, girl, what? Oh, hello.
Hello, Reg.
And you are? They want to know about the crate, she says. I don't know about the crate. The crate. Found
I'm
it.
wondering if you could help with some.
Flew it straight back
Detail.
here. Big thing inside, bumping about. That's all I can tell you.
Can I ask what had happened to the people on the ship? Was it crashed and they died in the crash? Was there?
He shivers slightly, and you see he kind of withdraws in on himself. And she waves to him. She does that, and he sort of wanders off. You could see he's profoundly uncomfortable by the question.
That's not a good sign.
And she does this, waves you over, and the two of you come over. She reaches down and shuffles about, and there's a clinking. 3 little glasses come out and go. And there's a boop, and this bottle comes out, and she pours this grog into these glasses, and then she just shoots it, puts it down, pours another one, and then she indicates to you with her fingers you should drink.
Oh yeah, on it.
Yeah. Megan, you drinking?
I'll take a little sniff.
Oh god, it's virtually bloody ethanol. It's terrible stuff, but you'll drink it.
Mine's already gone.
Yeah. Loveless please, but she's poured you another one. Are you drinking it or not? I mean, you don't have to, but
No,
it's...
no, I'll drink it.
Okay.
I'll drink it.
So as soon as you've shot
But
it...
I'll drink it more slowly. I'm not downing it in one.
Yeah. As soon as you shot it. So you start sipping it, and she sort of squints at you. She looks at you, Lovelore, and nods, and she looks at you, Megan. And you can see she thinks you're a bit effete. This is a woman who has worked. You know, she's scraggly, she's leathery, but she's a hard worker, right? And you can see that she's worked, and there's a pain on her face, not from the working, but from the thinking about this. These jobs we do sometimes, you find people, it's what it is. Reggie, I can't come.
Lovelore is incredibly attracted
Incredibly
to her.
okay.
Oh yeah. I
See-
get you.
See, the things that can happen to a body can be unpleasant, but this was more. This was like a hellhound that had its way with each of the bodies,
Whoa.
torn them apart. It wasn't just a crash. It was more than that. Horrible. It's like they've been opened up from the inside, turned inside out. Violent, disgusting, bloody. I told the authorities here. They were quiet about it. Whatever's in that crate ain't good. So be careful, alright?
Can you tell us about the crew?
If it was
Do
me,
they have
burn it.
Marines on? Do they have Marines on board? Do they have fighters? Do they have? Is this just a simple ship with merchants?
It was just a little freighter. Nothing big. Small. I don't even know how it hit the asteroid at such speed. Shouldn't have done.
No,
Something.
it shouldn't have. The spell jamming helm should have stopped that.
Yeah. So something went wrong. Horribly wrong. An outside influence? I don't know. But that ship was smashed up. Almost nothing left.
I'm going to sit on this damn
But the crate survived.
crate.
You do that, but you be careful.
Was the gravity field gone on the ship?
Oh, the ship was wrecked when we got to it.
So
No
everything was
air,
floating.
no gravity, nothing.
So no air, no gravity. How long do you think this had been floating?
Oh, well, Lava said she saw the collision. She saw the crash.
Okay.
She reported it.
She saw the crash. I'm just wondering how long this. Well, I suppose the atmosphere of the ship would have lasted for a bit.
We were there within hours. The asteroid has air, of course, and gravity.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the helm was
I
destroyed.
suppose so.
The crate was right in the back. It survived. It was dented and dinged up, but it survived.
I look over to Megan to see if she's got some more questions.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think. So there was no outside ship involved in the crash when Leda saw it. It was just the ship hurtling into the astral.
as I understand it. She keeps pouring more of this booze. It's a big bottle,
Can I ask,
and
were
it
there
is
any
hard.
within the ship? You saw obviously the inside of the ship. Was there any signs of a fight? Was there any scorch marks? Any?
It was hard to tell. There wasn't much left.
Uh-huh.
If you ask me, that box is cursed. The curse kept it in one piece. They say there's magic protecting it, but whatever's inside. If it had been down to me, we would have just dumped it into space.
But
Let
you
it sit in
brought
the
it
void.
back.
All
You
right,
brought it back,
all right.
and no problems bringing it back.
Nope. 3 hours. That's all it was.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
I wouldn't have wanted it on my ship much longer.
So, making Megan incredibly uncomfortable, Lovelord does a crack of his knuckles. He's showing off his massive arms.
Mm-hmm.
Goes, so, are you in port sometime soon? It's the most graceless possible flirt that Megan has ever seen.
She leans over to you, and she just sort of her face kind of brushes against yours, and she whispers in your ear, "I think your girl's struggling, but I'm here for you any time."
I will find you again.
You do that, big boy. You do that.
I lean away.
She
and
leans
start
back with
leaving.
this rather filthy smile on her face.
I love it. And as we leave, I lean in to make it. Oh, she's a broken one. Oh, she's broken. She's so broken. Ah.
Yeah, and for you, Megan, it's really quite uncomfortable to see him and see the way that he interacts with people, and it gives you this insight into him, and you know there's so many parts of him that struggle, but yeah.
Yeah, to wipe the memory and the sight away from my mind, I'll quickly down the drink in one.
That's the whole point. Yeah. Ooh,
Pass the glass back.
brain numbing juice. Yeah.
Thank you, that helped. Pass the glass back to her and then head off.
I whistle the whole way back.
Okay. So you get back to the ship just as the crate does, and it's being loaded on board. Okay. Now I suggest that is where we bring it to a halt for tonight,
Very good.
with you folks taking off, gently lifting off into the dark.
I was going to try and see if I could persuade the guy at the warehouse
Mhm.
to lend us some chains.
No, because he doesn't think you're coming back, so he's not going to lend you anything.
Once again,
And he's quite upfront about it. You're like, I'm not going to get those back. And you're like, but we're not going to steal them. He's like, it's like awkward.
You can come get them on the ship in salvage.
Yes, that's about the size of it. That's what he's concerned about. Yes.
That's awesome.
You can come with us, cast charm person.
Great.
No
session,
bloody way.
great
Not even with a really good result on charm person.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great session, John. I loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Lots of good role play. Great fun.
So I think it's important, as I think, Pete, you said this about things falling into your lap. It's like, okay, multiple things will fall into your lap, and then you can make your own decisions as to what you want to do. And because obviously this is, as we've said before, a slightly different type of campaign, which is a sandbox, not the conventional kind of railroading. Here's a story and follow it along. So.
We're basically wandering around looking for the exclamation marks over people's heads.
That's about the size of it.
Yes.
Yeah. And or in fact, making up your own exclamation marks, which I think is quite interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm going to feed you some things that are
Absolutely.
direct. So there was one direct, there was one indirect, and then there was one kind of player initiated. And of course, the nice thing is they all, or bits of them all slot together as well. So
Right.
you successfully take this crate and get your money, and then you will get, you will get the mayor will, be grateful that somebody dealt with it and it was you that dealt with it. So those things slot together quite nicely. And so there's a whole bunch of those things.
Yeah. And Captain Carlos, with her yellow
Charles.
teeth and leather skin. Charles. Oh my word.
Yeah. She's not an unhandsome woman. When I said she's kind of.
She's rough.
Oh God, she's very rough. Yeah, she's certainly that. But she's not a massively unattractive woman.
Yeah.
I mean, the yellow fingernails and teeth are not so great necessarily, but doesn't mean she's not attractive.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Am I right in saying that is our 7th encounter and we get a level up?
I think that that is an absolutely fair question, and I think yes. I think today we have to count the overall of today as being 7 out of 7. So if you'd like to level up, I think today definitely
Brilliant.
counts. Fantastic
I've got
approaches and so forth.
I've got something for you to think about, John, for next week.
Yes.
Okay, so to use the spell jamming helm,
Mm-hmm.
the only prerequisite is that you need to be able to cast a spell.
Correct.
Okay, so I believe, and I do believe, because if not, I've got nothing else to base anything on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to find it though. Hang on a second.
Okay, folks, I think we are going to stop the stream there,
Very good.
and we'll pick up the rest of the stream
Thank
next
you,
week.
John.
Stick around, please, players.